Just every show, and then Lord was like an excited for it. Yeah. I actually did try a little bit. I tried. Tweet it, Facebook it. It's true. I mean, I think it's first day, Monday. That was the meeting. But because they do like this. Just random like
Yeah, because I got him.
Where'd you find him?
I just I asked, we stopped at a gas station. We saw like a lot of truckers. I was just saying, and they were like, no, I really know, Ronnie, Lisa, you know what I mean? It's like, I was like, here's my card, just call me.
Did they call? Wow.
And they were like, it's the big first. There's one. Like if you look, you can see it. It was so foggy yesterday. It was like the shootout was like right here, and then I was like,
Okay.
one was on. It wasn't even
Okay. See, and I didn't even we went out there and she made us down. So we weren't even 100% sure. Yeah.
So yeah, they were at work. And then like every time I saw Donnie, the same thing. One of the guys that was like, pretty much our this person was this person, they was this person. I don't know this way. It was like, he was on the West Coast.
Yeah, old school people. Yeah, I know. Very every once in a blue moon it does. It's good, like love.
So it worked out. Yesterday, like, sounds like
come up every.
We have to do that.
Gotta do my top three. Well, that guy just made him out work on his feet. Yeah. He's skilled. Yeah.
Where'd you go? There.
I'd rather do wholesome process. But I've always figured out money or family or job. So that's where I live. Besides. Yeah. My room is still the shrine. For one bedroom apartment.
He also wants her stuff.
It's gonna be a long 3 hours. Which was more symbiotic. It was. It varies.
Like yesterday I was live, they like exact same time. So then instead of tapping out for the night, I sent out. And like we're on each other's websites.
It does sound because we can cover the whole story. Downside is. I got 4 o'clock on, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Exactly, no time.
Usually they ask for a book price, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but these are all here and all that. So, I got my one test.
That is nice for them because they don't have to come down here. Right.
Other downside is kind of our limited stepchild, because anytime our helicopter goes back into the
It's so true, like right now we're using your shop.
we've had our helicopter.
Like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, if you just leave your spot there. What is that? Little thing pulled out.
Okay, well, I'm offering out. Okay. Last night I kept on now, I got it. the press conference is starting in a couple of minutes here, so. But, okay, so and then make sure Bacon shoot.
Send it to me. Just one back to Steve. Make sure I'm just sitting.
Cool. A lot of new tasers. I already have one. I want you.
Never have enough. Oh, yeah.
A flashlight and a alarm and a taser. And there's a safety on it, so like the bullet is
It's a pretty good deal.
I'm picking it up tonight. I was like, I wish I had it, you know, when Michael was
Right. Yeah, that might not have been bad.
You don't have to write your script in your request to us. Yeah, they are.
Well, it's 2 o'clock. Y'all ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
All right. Again, I want to say thank you all for coming out this afternoon. We've got several people on the agenda to speak, and I know a lot of you here. For those that I don't know or that don't know me, I'm Captain Paul Timmons, Paultimmons. I am the Public Affairs Commander for the Department of Public Safety, Oklahoma Highway Patrol. And to get things kicked off, I'm going to introduce the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, Commissioner Michael C. Thompson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here, and I know there's been a lot of interest in this. Just in terms of ground rules, I just want to tell you up front, there are a number of things that we won't be able to share with you today. There are a lot of individual investigations taking place, but because of the high interest in this, we all collectively wanted to gather at the same time and just tell you what we can at this point so we all be on the same sheet of music. For me as the commissioner, I've got to tell you, one of the main reasons I wanted a couple of minutes to talk is I just wanted to thank this assembled group behind us. I've never seen such an extraordinary example of cooperation in my 27 years of law enforcement. Michael Vance was a really tough guy. He was a violent guy, and it took all of us working together to bring his rampage to an end. And an important point also, we're having this press conference here at the Highway Patrol. We could have had this anywhere. We had federal cooperation, county cooperation, state cooperation. We had so many people invested in this. And for all of us that are in law enforcement, Michael Vance was our worst case scenario, period. He was a determined, violent criminal with no regard for public safety, no regard for public life, and he had nothing to lose. So when we were able to apprehend him, we felt very good about our collective efforts. I want to send condolences to the family members or all those affected by his violence. I want to send condolences to Chief Sander, or Sheriff Sander from Dewey County, who is recovering right now. Sheriff Sander was just doing what Oklahoma law enforcement does every day. He was stopping a truck that was dragging a tow chain because he was concerned the spark may start a grass fire. And Michael's Vance shot him. This is after all the things he had done previous to this. So high regard for Chief Sander. We're glad he's okay. We're glad our Wellston officers are okay. And our deepest condolences to the family that was killed in Luther by Mr. Vance. I don't need to say this, but since we're all assembled here, I will. Vance could have ended this anytime, peacefully. Anytime. Even after his rampage in Wellston, he had ample opportunity to end this violent streak of his, and he chose not to. I am so proud of the efforts of law enforcement to bring this to an end. And I think about the Highway Patrol troopers that were there after Sheriff Sanders was shot. And I'm not a gun guy, my troopers are. They knew what they were facing. They knew that they were facing a guy who's carrying an AK-47, which shoots a 7.62 round, which has an effective range of over 300 yards. And since it's football season, that's 3 football fields. And when you look at how close our troopers got to this assailant, to Vance, before they were able to end this violent conduct, it really inspires confidence in Oklahoma law enforcement. Loss of life is always unfortunate, always. But we're glad no one else was harmed by Mr. Vance. Vance ended this rampage the exact same way he started it, violently. And it didn't have to be that way. But I'm glad we have dedicated law enforcement professionals that are there to answer the call. We should all be proud of Oklahoma law enforcement and our federal and state and county and municipal partners. It was an extraordinary act. And I'm sorry we can't give you really granular details today, but we will be able to answer a lot of your questions today. Chief will talk about the video here in a few moments. I know everyone's interested in that. Pay close attention to the first one. It really paints a picture of who this individual was. And with that, I'll be followed by the agent in charge of the FBI, Kay Peterson.
Thanks, Commissioner. First of all, I'd like to echo the Commissioner in expressing my sympathy to the family of Roger and Kay Wilkson, and my hopes for the speedy recovery of the sheriff, the officers who were shot, and the citizens who were shot by Michael Vance. It was an easy decision to bring all of the FBI's resources to bear to help apprehend this dangerous fugitive. This is a man who would shoot law enforcement, people who came to work every day to protect our citizens, would shoot total strangers, and would kill his own family members. So I think it was clear to the FBI as well as everyone else in this room that we needed to pull out all the stops to try to apprehend him. And as part of the FBI, we were just happy to be able to contribute anything to this apprehension effort. This is what you can expect from us. We're proud to be members of the Oklahoma law enforcement community, and we will be here to protect the citizens of Oklahoma whenever such need arises. I'll be followed by U.S. Marshal.
Can you spell your first and last name for us, please?
It's Catherine Peterson, Kathryn Peterson.
Good afternoon. My name is Charles Weeks, and I'm the United States Marshal for the Western District of Oklahoma. I'd like to start out by saying, as a law enforcement officer, but foremost as an Oklahoman, I'm certainly glad that last week is over. And I know my fellow Oklahomans are certainly glad that it's over. The people that I talked to and family and friends, no one knew when this individual might pop up. And now that it's over, we're all very grateful. The United States Marshal Service spearheads the Metro Fugitive Task Force. That is comprised of federal, state, county, and city officers. And I cannot thank the federal agents and the Deputy United States Marshals, the troopers, the Oklahoma state agents, and the city officers and the Sheriff's Department deputies who comprise our task force. It's what we do every week. And the spirit of cooperation in Oklahoma amongst these agencies, came to the forefront last week. It's teamwork. It's something that we all strive for every week. And as you're going to see on the video, it's dangerous, dangerous business. I want to say to my brothers and sisters in the Highway Patrol, what they did to end this Sunday night was extraordinary. I wish that, or I hope that everyone who was injured and killed, they have my sympathies and my condolences. I hope they have quick recovery. I especially want to thank Sheriff Clay Sander, Wellston Police Officers Jim Hampton and Sean Stewart, because what they did, they are true heroes. Every day as a law enforcement officer, we saddle up and we go out and we hope it's a routine day. And in a split second, it becomes not a routine day. And they lived it. We're very fortunate Sunday night that we didn't lose anybody else. And I'm very grateful for that. I wish everyone a speedy and quick recovery and they get back to duty on time. Thank you.
I'm Stan Florence, STANFLORENCE, Director of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. I'll echo much of what was already been said. I wanted to add a couple of things just to let you know the OSBI's role this past several days, this past week. Our role was first and foremost to assist in the investigation of the Wellston officers in their shooting case and subsequent shootings after that, all the way to the shooting of Sheriff Clay Sanders. Other resources that we provided this past week involved certain criminal analytical assistance, information sharing through the Fusion Center, and also laboratory analysis. Each of these shooting scenes around the state, we collect evidence and brought forward to the lab, and we're doing our part to try to identify the persons involved, as well as maybe perhaps connecting the scenes together. So our role has been, in that sense, from an investigative standpoint. I think also, just to reiterate again what everybody said earlier, this past week was a week that in many ways was unprecedented. It's not that uncommon to have a period of time in a week or a few days where someone like Mr. Vance commits the acts of violence that he did. But in this instance, what happened, as we all feared, it would end violently. But fortunately for most of law enforcement, the injuries are all not life-threatening, and that's good. In terms of the cooperation, I'll just close with this. I too have been involved in law enforcement for many years, and both on the local, county, and state level. Oklahoma, even though we're talking about and highlighting what's happened this past week with law enforcement, we always have worked well together. And it's good that we can have an occasion like this to come together. We're all healthy, we're all well, and we can actually look back and see where these relationships that we work hard to develop and discuss things, how we can actually see them put into an actual plan every time something like this happens. So I applaud everybody, all the agencies who are involved. Most importantly, I want to applaud the citizens. We received numerous information and tips from the public, and we say that many times in press releases about instances and cases and things of this nature where we're trying to bring some sort of resolution. The public certainly did and always plays a vital role in helping us resolve these things. And so our hats are also off to the public for the service they provided in helping us bring this to a conclusion. Sheriff Bruce Peoples, the Custer County Sheriff, will be coming up next.
Good afternoon, I'm Bruce Peoples, the Sheriff of Custer County. In the video, you're going to see the roads that this incident occurred on are all in Custer County. I want to take this opportunity to, on behalf of the citizens of Custer County, to thank all of these agencies that come together to help apprehend this individual. He was a direct threat to our community, and it's on behalf of them and the members of my department who participated for long, hard hours to make this come to a successful conclusion. We greatly appreciate. Our next speaker is Sheriff of Oklahoma County, John Wetzel.
Thank you. The first thing I want to do is remember two people, and that's Ron and Kay Wilkson. Ron and Kay Wilkson were the two people who died at the hands of Michael Vance. To their family, we were in Luther this past week as we said goodbye and paid our respect to the Wilksons. To the other victims of Mr. Vance, we wish them well. The 3 law enforcement officers who were shot, in addition to the other victims of carjackings, attempted carjackings, and just shooting. We have in custody today 3 people: Danny Roach, April Harden, and Reginald Moore, for their part in assisting Michael Vance. Danny Roach and Reginald Moore are facing charges of accessory to murder. They are also facing charges of shooting with intent to kill in the shooting of Sheriff Sander and Mr. Frost, because they provided the weapon to Michael Vance, which resulted in those individuals being shot. So in addition to whatever charges may be filed in the western part of Oklahoma, they will face those charges here in Oklahoma County. In addition, April Harden is being charged also with accessory to murder. Both 2 counts. I might say that as we speak, investigators from the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office are out continuing their investigation. And we will not stop until we have answers for every question that we may have in law enforcement about what happened in Oklahoma County. I said yesterday, and I'll repeat that today, behind me is what the face of law enforcement cooperation looks like. I've been in law enforcement for 49 years. been involved in many cases, but I've never seen the level of cooperation that we received and showed each other this past week. On Sunday evening, when we had the Wilksons murdered in Luther, at the time I arrived at the scene, I looked around to see many Highway Patrol troopers, the FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service. They were there even though we hadn't called them. They were there to be of assistance because we had a madman on the loose. The OSBI is doing work for us now in processing the firearm. Local police departments and sheriff's offices across the state have been working nonstop for the past week to find the killer. This is what law enforcement cooperation in Oklahoma looks like. I could not be prouder of what I have seen and witnessed, both personally and as an agency, this past week. And for those brave men and women who put themselves in the actual line of fire this last Sunday night, I say they're heroes. They will go down as heroes. And we're thankful that none lost their lives. With that, it's my honor to introduce the Roger Mills County Sheriff, Darren Athel.
I would just mainly like to say thank you to the people of Roger Mills County and the staff of the Roger Mills County Sheriff's Department. And then it gets into the surrounding agencies. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon for us. We're a small agency. Shortly after we received the call, I mean, we felt it was credible. We felt we knew who we were looking for and what we were dealing with. Shortly after I arrived in Hammond, Captain Knighty with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol arrived, and a command center went up quickly. I was very impressed, and I was glad that they were there. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, U.S. Marshal Service. Again, I'd like to thank the citizens. We've been circulating social media all week, just not sure that he was gone. And the citizens stepped up. They remained calm. One agency that has not been mentioned, the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife. We have a lot of public lands. Vance had a lot of places to hide in Roger Mills County. The Drug Task Force, all the surrounding counties. I'm happy and I'm confident that whenever I send out a call, my peers, the surrounding counties, Ellis County, Dewey County, Custer County, Beckham County, Hemphill County, Wheeler County, we're there for each other, and we'll be there for you, and thank you. And Chief Estes with Wellston Police Department.
Hi, I'm Chief Tim Estes from the Wellston Police Department. First off, I'd like to thank everybody back here that's been involved in this. Sorry I'm getting emotional, but I don't get it. It's been a trying time for our town. Kind of give you an update. Officer Sean Stewart, he's still recovering. His recovery is going to be slow. I believe he has to see a specialist today. We're thinking probably 3 months or so before he gets back. Officer Jim Hampton should be back. His recovery is going well and should be back in the next couple of weeks. On behalf of myself, I'd like to thank the town of Wellston for all of their support, prayers, calls. Also, we have calls from several different states, even asked if they needed to help us on anything, and we advised them that we're doing what we want. A special thanks to Sheriff Charles Doherty. Some of his guys has helped me cover the shifts during the nighttime. It's just been a tremendous week. With you never dream anything like this will ever happen, but man, these guys A1. But everybody's gonna be okay. I mean, we'll survive and we'll pick it up and we'll go. I'd like to thank the media that's kept the story going and let people know all across the state of Oklahoma that this man was out here and we didn't know for sure where. And it worked out. He got caught out in western Oklahoma. And you've got to pretty much advise that, you know, this man made his own choices. It wasn't nobody else. He made his own choices. And he got caught. He got caught. So that's about all I have. And again, I just want to thank everybody that has called and offered prayers and comfort. And like I say, the guys behind me are top notch, and Oklahoma should be proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Afternoon, I'm Chief Rick Adams, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. I'm going to try to go through some details here. We'll show the video, kind of give you a little bit of what transpired that evening. But first, before I say anything or go any further, I want to say what an amazing privilege it is to be able to lead such a fine organization and to work with such fine professionals that we have standing behind us here. Is that this was this entire incident, it was we all worked together. We worked together closely to try to bring it to a conclusion. Reiterate everything that's been already said. Thank y'all all for your service to this state and to your communities. During this conference, I want to, before I get started off here, going too far into it, give thanks to God that our sheriff is going to be okay. He's a brave man, doing his duty, doing his job. Never knows what you're going to stop out there, and he's recovering in the hospital. He has his undersheriff here today to represent us here today. Appreciate you being here, along with all of our other county partners from around the area there in western Oklahoma and here locally. What I want to show you today at this conference is kind of set the stage for what happened on Sunday out in western Oklahoma. I'm going to also take it down to the end and what ended the rampage of this killer, this murderous individual. What you will see is you're going to get to see the context from a Highway Patrol helicopter that had picked up this image. We'll have a FLIR camera, so just for the context as we go through that, the FLIR doesn't give you television quality picture, but you can get a good sense for it and especially for the mindset of the individual that our troopers are facing on the roadway out there that evening in the dark. Also, you'll get a chance to see three different ground units actual video. And you'll see some tactics that was deployed during this period of time, which yes, they're within our policy and we train in order to ensure that our officers survive and that they're ready to take on or confront a situation just like this, that they're equipped and they're prepared for it. First of all, this evening, the evening when this occurred, this call came in at around 2:51 in the afternoon. Troop A Clinton headquarters got this call, the sighting that come in through 911 transfer. Information went out. The calls went into the surrounding areas. The sheriff's offices immediately moved into the area along with the highway patrol that we had in the area. Captain Brad Knighty, which is here today, was the troop commander of that particular area there. He put a plan into place very quickly in order to secure the immediate area down. Passed this information up. Information of a photograph was passed. We felt pretty certain at that time that this is a really high possibility that we had a suspect here. Information through our federal partners was passed. They believed that yes, it was actually a Mitsubishi Eclipse. Now, whether it was his car or not, we still didn't know. OSBI, once we got to the scene, was working on trying to identify 100% sure with DNA that this is the fellow at the scene, but we all felt very confident that it was him that we had in the area. The troop commanders from Troop I, Troop J, Troop H, Troop M, those are geographic troops from the Highway Patrol, all put up what we call a Signal 1 plan fairly quickly into place. Basically, we're not putting up necessarily roadblocks. We are putting people at staged areas all over the area to keep an eye on what's going on and to monitor the what's coming to and from down the roadway. So we've got a good knowledge if we got something transpires, we got people close. Of the other troop commanders that responded to the area, the 3 troop commanders that were locally worked seamlessly together. Captain Brad Noddy was the actual troop commander. Captain Stan Walker, which is the troop commander out of Troop I, which bordered the area here, and Trooper Bradley Shepard out of Troop J. All 3 stood the command post up quickly and began the operations there at the time. I made personal phone calls to all the sheriffs that are involved here and visit with the ones I couldn't get a hold of at the scene at the command post. We made some determinations that we felt like we needed to get information out quickly because of this being a dangerous person, though we weren't 100% sure. I believe some of y'all heard us in our comments that this was the strongest lead we had to this point. And short of a DNA match, we felt like we had him in the area and there was no evidence that he had left. So at that point in time, all of us conferring together, we decided it was a place to plant our flag and to dig in, and we were going to be here until we found him and we found evidence that he had left. At this point in time, the net went up. We started securing assets from around the state. We had an outer perimeter set that was set by our command staff back here in Oklahoma City area, and it went up fairly quickly. And we even had units as far back as toward the border of Oklahoma Troop A area that was being monitoring traffic or a possibility of somebody that might have slipped by. At approximately 9:47 in the afternoon, we get our first notification, and we use these approximate times. We get our first notification that the sheriff has actually come across the suspect. We believe he is the suspect. He is at this point in time, probably because of the pressure that the entire law enforcement community is putting on there in the area. He has left and he is now looking for a vehicle, something to get out of, and he gets into a different vehicle, into a pickup truck that's pulling a chain, and as the commissioner spoke earlier, kind of tells you what happened and why he originally was stopped. The sheriff was able to get rounds returned and was able to get a call out for assistance to let everybody know that he had just been shot and that the suspect vehicle description. Just minutes later, our Highway Patrol helicopter picked this vehicle up on a county road, and with the FLIR was able to locate it. At that point in time, we started moving assets in to try to surround him and actually set a roadblock up. A roadblock was actually put into place just minutes before. This is what you're going to see on the tape. The roadblock goes in just minutes before the suspect gets there as he's traveling southbound down a roadway. It's minutes before he gets to the roadblock. There are rounds exchanged at the roadblock as he goes through. Make a point here. We know that this is a dangerous individual. This is a killer that's killed his own family. This is a person that's injured law enforcement officers, and he's just shot another police officer. We have every reason to believe at this point in time that deadly force is authorized if we cannot bring him down peacefully. And he's had every opportunity at this point to surrender peacefully. He runs this roadblock, runs through the roadblock. Our troopers continue to pursue. At the point, and I'll set the video up here. Now, at the end of this, I'm also going to give the names of our troopers that were involved in this shooting so that y'all have that up front. Because these young men did an extraordinary job and were extremely gallant and brave, literally running toward the fire and not letting anything off this guy as this is going on. At the particular time that this occurred, the vehicle at this point in time is heading down the roadway. You'll see on the tape where he slows because they are exchanging rounds. It's hard to tell from the television, from the camera, from the bird, from this particular type of FLIR, but you'll be able to see some of those rounds exchanging. You'll be able to see some debris coming off of the cars. The vehicle will stop. There'll be more rounds exchanged, and then you'll see it'll start rolling backwards. This individual actually got out of his vehicle got in front of his car, let the vehicle roll backward toward the officers that are stopped shooting at him, and advanced on it using the vehicle for cover like if it was a tank. This man had every intention of taking officers with him. They found some young men at the roadblock that had a mindset that they had switched from the guardian to the warrior at this point, and they did not give up. You'll also see in this picture, you'll have information where you'll see the other video camera footage from the other officers that are responding. We'll give you context. Each of these camera shots will show you from the beginning about the same point. It'll start at about the same point. It'll end about the same point, so that you don't get the whole period, but it'll get everything kind of shooting in the context that it went down in. And I'll give that, of course, the OHP aircraft piece, and I'll give a little bit while we go through it. All the folks that were behind us here, we talk about the cooperation that went on there. It's so important we have our business cards and we have numbers loaded before you have an incident like this happen. I believe we all talked, everybody in here talked at one point in time during this physically on the phone, and weren't exchanging emails. So that's an important point that you have when you're out here dealing with a situation like this. Setting this up like this, we'll begin by rolling the video, and we'll be followed right after the video is done. Captain Suggs will come forward. He is the commander of my Troop Z investigative unit. He'll come forward. He will answer questions after the video is over with, what he can. Please understand that we are not complete with this investigation. We're coming out with a lot of this early, and we're being obviously completely and totally transparent.
Chief, one question. A lot of us are televising this live. Is there graphic video that we need to warn them about?
This is going to be pretty graphic video, but it's violent video, obviously. But there's not really anything that you can see as far as blood and gore. So.
We'll give you folks a couple minutes. The video is going to show on these two screens and the screen behind you if you want to reposition. If not, we'll go ahead and kick this off.
Okay.
Anybody want to move around, feel free. You can.
The first video will not have sound. The subsequent videos will have sound.
The front vehicle that you see here is a suspect vehicle. The trail vehicle is one of our troopers that is behind him. And what you see at the top here, the black dots that are lit up there is the roadblock that is set up at this point. Context, obviously, the speeds are looks much greater on the ground than what it does from the helicopter in the air.
What time of day is it?
Say again?
What time of day is it?
It's 9:55 in the evening.
How fast are they going at this point in time?
Pretty fast. You'll be able to get that context shortly. Rounds are exchanged at that point.
That's Vance driving right through an Oklahoma Highway Patrol roadblocks, what you just saw.
What did the roadblock consist of?
Consisted of 3 units that were sitting there, 3 patrol units that were sitting there at the location.
And which street was this?
This is a cemetery road. That's why I call it family from that area. It's just about a mile west of Butler on 33 Highway and about 7 miles north on Cemetery Road there. Banking County Road might have an actual different designator, but most folks there know it is Cemetery Road. What you cannot tell, and you can start looking closely, there's rounds being exchanged between both the unit and the suspect at this point in time.
Do you know, is the pursuing trooper firing out of his window or through his own windshield?
Through his own windshield.
What's the name of the trooper who was in the?
I'll give all those here shortly.
goes through that first roadblock, what is it, another mile, mile and a half, 2 miles before he meets his final shootout?
About 3 miles. It's not very long. From the time of the sheriff shooting till he is down, and we say that we believe we have him secure. There's been about a total of 25 minutes that elapsed. It's fairly quick. You can see the rounds bouncing off the car. Some pinging off the ground. Some of those are his coming back right there at our trooper. They've already tried to disable it, and they've tried to the shots were actually meant at him and the vehicle. They were trying to bring this to an end.
But is the truck disabled at this point? or-
No,
We're not certain whether it's disabled at this point or not. We do know he gets out at this point.
See road, you can see rounds peppering off the ground. He's still firing. That's the skid on the helicopter. Here he is outside the vehicle, and you can see him advancing. You can see his bullets casings against the white background. They're flying off the vehicle, flying off into the grass. These are rifle shot distances, so this is not something for pistols.
Do you have any idea how many times he was shot?
Not right now. We'll have to leave that to the rest of the investigation. Multiple.
Are those black pock marks that were happening after he had fallen, are those more shots?
Yes, sir. This camera gives you the light. You don't have that when you're the actual guy standing on the ground.
He's down right there?
Yes. This is our next trooper, Trooper Brian Costanza. He is out of Troop B area. He is the one that's immediately in pursuit of Mr. First Officer.
Air 1. Go ahead. Hey, are they in pursuit? I think that's the right car that tried to stop this guy that did it. We're in pursuit. Gotcha. Hey, if I get found, I want to shut the road down. It's going to be shots. I want to take shots. I'm going to take shots. When he gets up there, I'm going to shut the road down and take shots. Okay, we just did that last intersection. Yeah, when you come to that intersection, looks ready. He used the gas when he came through the intersection. We've had shots fired. We're southbound secondary unit, 820 secondary unit. You better police officer when he shot fired. Brian, will you clear all that shot fired?
So he's driving and shooting at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. Southbound Main 9 Road.
What kind of weapon is he shooting with? What is that, you know?
The trooper shooting with M4.
Is the trooper,
right at this point. You heard everything go down in the helicopter, so you'll see as other units come up, but there's rounds being exchanged right up until they cease fire. Saw some rounds bounce back here toward the control unit.
Is that man firing back at him?
Both.
He's in front of the truck, the truck's backing up towards you, he's backing up, he's standing in front of the truck. The truck's rolling backwards, he's standing in front of the truck. Shooting at you guys.
Okay, next sight you'll get here is from one of the backup officers right as the vehicle comes through the roadblock. I believe this is Trooper Michael Whittington. Michael Whittington, out of Troop H.
Was Vance firing at officers even when you thought he was down?
He was prone on the ground. He was just outside the eyeball shot from the officers out in the dark. He was prone on the ground, and that's really all that they knew. They're outside the car. They're just seconds elapsing.
Air 1. Go ahead. Hang on, thank you. The lights on and trying to stop this guy.
Chief, what kind of firearms do your officers have?
Say that again?
What kind of firearms do your officers have?
We issue a M4 AR-15 kind of weapon. Just the TAC team, he's got the Department of Tactical team.
Are those fully automatic?
The ones that he had was.
When you come to that intersection, so be ready.
Obviously, it came to the point that he felt like we needed to put something on
When
it.
we came to the intersection, we've had shots fired.
Those gun battles, 2 or 3 rounds are exchanged. Obviously, that was not the case here.
Do you know how long it was from when the first shots were fired to the very last? Seconds or a minute?
Just give you a rough ballpark, probably 5 minutes. I mean,
5 minutes?
This is going on for a bit.
We're not
We're
certain.
not certain of the
We're
time.
not
Okay,
certain.
okay.
Don't hold it to that.
Not certain, okay.
Yeah, shots fired up. Trying to knock him out. Southbound main 90 road.
How many times were these troopers' vehicles hit?
We don't have all those numbers yet. This is still under investigation. We can ask some of these questions later, but we really at this point in time don't have all the final.
Is that something that we can get pictures of, or that you guys have pictures of that you can send to us of the vehicles? The trooper
Why don't we
vehicles?
wait till after we're done here, we'll see what we're doing. Most of this is still secured up for processing. You see our trooper out behind his vehicle there.
He's in front of the truck's backing up towards you, he's backing up, he's standing in front of the truck. The truck's rolling backwards, he's standing in front of the truck. Shooting at you guys.
Is that the helicopter talking?
It's helicopter talking.
What are you saying? I'm just laying down the middle of the road.
How many troopers total?
Fired? 5.
Airwall, we're coming in from the south. Do we need to hold off for crossfire? He's down in the middle of the road. Well, tell those guys we're coming in from the south. We got more units coming in from the south, coming back at you. Okay, we're heading right now. I got the northbound 20. Okay.
Next unit expected. Let's go ahead and give you the name of all the units involved, the sequence of these, not for sure what the sequence is in right now. Trooper Brandon Stewart, he is out of Troop A. He was here. Trooper Trent Kiesler, out of Troop H, and Trooper Chris Handover, out of Troop A.
You know, are those troopers involved in this, are they veteran troopers, any of them like fairly new troopers?
They're all veterans. This is Trooper Michael Whittington here. I seen him proper a while ago. Should have incorrect a while ago. He's out of Troop S, or size and weight unit.
You probably already said this. What kind of weapon is that? What kind of weapon is that?
AR-15, kind of That's our standard issue weapon.
How often would you say they use those?
I practice with them every year. These guys.
But I mean, like out in the
Yes.
field.
Yes, these guys, we have them to work on firearm proficiency a lot, so. Some of these guys are actually firearms instructors, so they completely understand the lethality of this weapon that's being fired back out.
Just to be clear, you said, okay, some of these troopers are all from different troops. So I guess during the course of the afternoon Sunday, a lot of troopers from around the state converged in this area.
As part of putting the Signal 1 in effect, we had troopers coming from all over the state to this location, and we brought additional resources in, including our tactical units, and we were preparing to bring in other units because we were going to be there for a while until we found this individual.
The truck's going backwards. He's standing in front of the truck. Shooting at you guys. Fired. Subject's down. What are you doing? Subject's laying down the middle of the road.
I don't know if you can answer this or not, but you know when the troopers approached him, was he dead there, or did he die moments later? Can you answer that?
I'm assuming he was probably down immediately, but we have no way of knowing.
But I mean, when the troopers approached him to check him close, was he dead?
Yes. That's it. Oh, we on there? Okay. Okay, folks, again, these young men did an extraordinary job, all the troopers involved, along with everybody else that was out there. It was pretty obvious here. This night, this was going to end. This was the night that we were going to make sure that he didn't hurt anybody else in one of these communities. These guys did an exceptional, extraordinary job out there under terribly, obviously stressful conditions, making the decisions that they did. All the folks here in locations back here, like I said, all these officers and all these other agencies did a fabulous job of being there and working together seamlessly. We're just really proud of the way that the entire operation went down. I'm going to be followed by our Troop Z commander, which is here, Captain Suggs. He is not going to be able to answer a lot of questions because this is still, again, under investigation. There's details that he is not going to be able to provide today and may not even know yet. Okay, so please take that into consideration. After he's complete, Paul, Captain Timmons will be here, and we will all be here to answer any questions for a little while that you may have. Captain?
Captain, can you spell your first and last name for us, please?
Brent, B-R-E-N-T. Last name is Sugg, S-U-G-G. And Lieutenant Brent Jones, J-O-N-E-S. The pictures that we have on the screen, these are Trooper Brian Costanza's patrol issue Tahoe. You can see there's a couple of rounds on the passenger side. Those are rounds from Vance's AK-47. That's a close-up. That's on the driver's side, right above the headlight. There's also on the driver's wheel, when we show the picture of the wheel, this vehicle was brought in on a wrecker, so the wheel has been rotated. So there's a defect on the right side of the image you're looking at on the middle portion of the wheel where the wheel was shot. It's been rotated due to the wrecker. And then the final picture, I believe, of the vehicle showed the round that went through the spotlight, just a few inches from where Brian Costanza was sitting in his patrol vehicle. I think the videos showed a pretty clear picture of what took place on County Road 2130. Troopers engaged, 3 troopers engaged Vance in his vehicle as he ran a roadblock. At the final scene, 5 troopers engaged Vance. He was returning fire at our troopers. You see the pictures of Trooper Costanza's vehicle. When Vance's weapon was an AK-47, he had 2 30-round magazines. He emptied both 30-round magazines. When we recovered the weapon, it was at a lockback. There were no rounds remaining in it. As the Patrol 1 video showed, he was firing multiple rounds at the time. When he exited the vehicle, he was using the vehicle as cover and concealment, similar to the LA bank robbers in the mid-90s. Same technique, same tactic, trying to engage those troopers. Have any questions?
It was an actual AK-47.
Yes.
And so, when your trooper was returning fire, he was just shooting through the windshield then, or had the windshield been broken out?
No, he was engaging through his windshield. The first set of rounds were to create a spot in the windshield, so rounds would continue to penetrate to reach vans.
Is that what they're trained to do?
Yes, the tactical team trains in that technique.
The use of the truck as cover and his ability to hit the troopers' vehicles. Does he have any military background, Mr. Vance, do we know, or what type of training did he receive?
I do not know that information, sir.
Is that a sophisticated technique? Would you expect that from an ordinary person?
Using the vehicle as cover? No, I would use it for a person that commits murders and shoots police officers. Yes, I would expect that.
Do you know what kind of weapon Vance was using, what he was firing back with?
It was an AK-47.
Oh, he had one too?
Yes.
All right.
No, he was the only one with an AK-47. Troopers were carrying an M4. Yes.
And that was the one that was provided to him by the accomplices, correct?
That's what we understand, yes.
Were any of the troopers injured?
I'm sorry, sir.
The M4s that your troopers have, how many rounds do they hold?
I don't know what magazine each one of them had in. Generally, troopers will carry a 20 or 30 round magazine. Yes, ma'am.
Were any of your troopers injured at all?
Not that I'm aware of. Not at the scene. I don't have any of that information if they were.
Just a caveat on that, I think no one was struck, but I really do believe we're gonna have some folks with some pretty severe hearing damage as a result of this exchange.
Well, there was a lot of smoke in their cab of their car too, wasn't it, from all the rounds they were firing, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that smoke we were seeing
Yes.
around there? Okay.
Yes. Just burning gunpowder.
After the helicopter says the Vance is down, there was still a lot of gunfire. Was he still a threat at that point?
I don't know if he was a threat. We have not interviewed the troopers at this time. We're barely 40 hours into this, so I don't know.
On a case like that, once the call is that he's down, is that something they're trained for, though, to continue shooting?
They are trained to continue until the individual or individuals are no longer a threat. I don't know at what point that he was not a threat any longer.
Well, one thing to note about that, because I was out there yesterday during the morning daylight, but at nighttime, when there's not a light, there's not a house, anything around, it's pitch black out there.
You're exactly right. The FLIR gives you a sense that it is somewhat illuminated out there, and for the reporters that were on the scene that night and early that morning, there was absolutely no visibility.
Any idea the total number of rounds fired by the troopers?
No, ma'am.
Any reason to think that he may have been hit while he was still in the vehicle, Vance?
I don't know at this time.
How many vehicles were damaged to where they're taken out of commission?
Only one.
Just the one?
Yes.
We do know that he had accomplices, obviously, in Oklahoma City. How long was he staying with them? Does anyone know?
I do not have that information. Sheriff Wetzel may have that.
That was just a short period of time.
Where are the troopers now? Are they on leave?
Yes, they are on administrative leave.
All 5 of them?
Yes.
Did Vance's cell phone ever light up after that incident on Monday?
I don't have that information, sir.
At one point in the dash cam, we could see some troopers ready to get into their vehicles. Were those the 3 that were stopped at the roadblock? That's
Yes,
what they're
ma'am.
pursuing?
Yes, ma'am.
And so just so I'm clear, the total number of troopers that actually fired on Vance was a total of 5?
Yes.
And 2 at the roadblock, or 3?
There were 3 at the roadblock, and then those 3 joined into the pursuit. So there were a total of 5 troopers and 1 game warden that was in the video shot. You would have seen 6 people lined up, and so there were 5 troopers.
That is 5 different vehicles?
There were, yes, 5 vehicles.
I know troopers train for things like this, but can you ever think of an instance in where they've had to use the training in this way?
Shooting through the windshield?
And to this magnitude for this length of time with this sort of suspect?
I think every shooting situation is unique. Shooting through the windshield, Trooper Fugate, just a couple of years ago, southeastern Oklahoma, had to do the same thing, being attacked by a felon trying to kill him, so he did use the same technique.
Up to this point where the Dewey Sheriff encountered him, how close were you guys to actually locating him?
I don't know that I have the exact answer of how close we were to locating him. His world was becoming very small at this point, given the volume of law enforcement moving towards the state, the Signal 1 plan that had been activated with concentrated efforts in that area, and so many troopers being in that area, and the multiple law enforcement agencies that had assets in that area. I think it would have happened, if not by the sheriff, any number of law enforcement officers may have encountered him within moments.
One key point about that, just to go with it, if you notice, he never left the vehicle he stole to the first sight this entire time. He's been with that car until now. He knows he's under pressure. He decides to steal a car, and so how close? We don't have a timeline on how close it is, but obviously, his mistake is what tripped us.
Did the game warden also want to be firing a shot?
No, he did not. If you notice in the video, it appears that his weapon may have malfunctioned. As he steps outside the line of sight of the Tahoe in trying to engage the suspect, he immediately comes back to the Tahoe using it for cover and concealment, and he's manipulating his weapon, which appears to be a malfunction. Now, I have not interviewed him, so I don't have that. I'm taking that based on the video.
Do we know roughly the distance they were exchanging fire?
I don't have that. It has been measured, I just don't have it with me. The scene was forensically mapped.
Do you know what kind of truck Mr. Vance was driving when he was killed?
It was a 1-ton flatbed farm truck. I don't know the make and model of it. I just don't remember that.
It was a Dodge.
Thank you.
It was a Dodge. I believe it was either a 2005 or a 2007.
Do you all know how he managed to survive out of the elements as long as he did, or you know, things like that?
I do not know. I don't have that information.
But he had been shot last week.
Yes. Yes, he had. Twice.
Are there any other suspects or people who may have helped him out throughout this time? In particular, I wanted to ask if his sister or anything was involved, because he did address in that Facebook Live video, "Thanks, sis, for helping me out." It's a question from the family as well of the Wilson.
And I think that those are things that are being covered by Sheriff Wetzel and OSBI in their investigations of the shootings of the police officers and also the homicides in Luther. I think that will be more along their investigations. I don't know if they have that or have information to share on that at this point.
All I would share is that everything, we still, as I said, today, as we speak, we have investigators in the field. I know a lot of other agencies still have investigators in the field. There's a lot for us to learn yet.
So there could still be more people out there that may have helped.
Whatever our investigation turns up is what it will be.
How did those
We got time for about 2 more questions.
How did those people that were arrested, Sheriff, how did they know Michael Vance?
Could you step up to the podium and answer the question?
We know that a couple of them knew him through work. They worked together. So any other relationship at this point in time, we believe the girl was a girlfriend, and the other 2 had worked with Michael Vance on a construction job.
One more question.
Earlier, you guys said that Sheriff Sanders was able to return rounds when he first pulled the truck over. Was he able to hit Vance? Like, had Vance been shot at all before the pursuit?
All we know right now is he got rounds off. They're still all under investigation. The OSBI, the Highway Patrol, as far as this portion of the incident, we had tactical control of the ground operation there as far as the manhunt on the ground. The FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service was investigating. They were charged trying to find all the leads and run out. The OSBI was investigating their pieces that were on the ground. So what you get when you get this snapshot here is kind of the snapshot of how it ended. This obviously it transpired over an entire week of time that caused this to begin. So.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and Trooper Dwight is going to have copies of the DVDs, and he's going to ask you for a name and what media outlet that you're with. And Some of these other agency representatives will be available for questions, probably for a few more minutes on their own. Again, I want to thank you all for coming out today, and hopefully we've cleared up some things for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sunday.